Hey, this week let's talk about the 3 stages of creating wealth and prosperity. Hey guys, Randy Gage here. I want to welcome you to another episode of Prosperity TV. I was thinking this morning about the stages I go through in my life, the stages you go through in your life, and what are some of the commonalities, or what is the process when we're building prosperity and wealth? And I think ideally we have the opportunity to manifest 3 scenarios in our life, 3 stages in our life. And the first stage is the one of learning. This is where you become a mentee and you find a mentor. This is where you go to school when you're a student. This is when you get coaches and mentors and people who give you advice, parents and counselors and teachers. And your goal at that stage is to learn what you need to learn to create prosperity, to create health, to create happiness. And that's an important stage, and that's the great thing that can happen with a college education, let's say, or a sabbatical, or taking a trip overseas, being in a foreign exchange program when you're a teenager, things like that. So if you can, if you're older, if you can offer those kind of opportunities to your children, where they have this stage of learning, and hopefully you had that, where that's where you learned how the world really works, what your potential might be, what your passions are, what your purpose in life is. So that's the first stage, is this stage of learning. And then the second stage is where you really go out and you create options for yourself. You create freedom, you create security. That's your earning stage. And so most people, right, our learning stages when we're in our teens and our 20s and maybe even our early 30s. And it's different for everyone. I mean, some people are still in that learning stage at 40. There's no rules, right? We all do it at our own pace. But usually it's the younger years we go through the learning, then we go through the earning stage. And for most people, their peak earning stages are going to be their 40s, 50s. If you think about Think and Grow Rich with Napoleon Hill, he talked about guys in their 50s. That's when they really started to accelerate their prosperity and their wealth. And he talked about sexual transmutation, and he felt it took a lot of guys till they're 50 before they could channel that sexual energy into productive endeavors and create their wealth. But I think for most people that's probably true. 40s, 50s. These are the peak earning time, even into the 60s. And then we go to stage 3, which is the return stage, meaning the time where now it's not about success, it's about significance. It's not about getting, it's about giving. It's about giving back. And now you're at a stage in your life where you've created freedom, you've created security, and it allows you to help with your time and your treasure and your talents for charities and those less fortunate than you, and you become a mentor instead of, whereas before you were a mentee. And that's a real amazing progression for prosperity. So if you can set up your life for that kind of scenario, I think it's really the recipe for happiness and the way prosperity works in its most abundant way. Those 3 stages of learning, earning, returning. You got any thoughts on that? I'd love to hear them. Put them down below in the comments, and if you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. And of course, tell people about Prosperity TV. And until next week, peace. Love you guys, and live rich. Hey, so one last thought on this. There's no rules, so I don't want anyone beating themselves up because you're watching this at a certain age and you say, wow, I'm at this age and I'm not to that stage. Remember, we all do this at our own timeline. And once you're aware of it, and once you have the realization of it, you have the opportunity to manifest going to the next stage. See you next Monday.